Hi, everyone. This is Susanna Ellers. I'm with the National Science Foundation. Thank you for joining in this webinar. Hopefully, everyone can hear me okay. Feel free to send me a message in the chat window if you can't. But without any further ado, I guess we'll get underway. As I mentioned, I'm Susanna Ellers with the National Science Foundation. I work in the Geosciences Directorate on most of the international activities. And I'm joined today with Maria Yule, also from the National Science Foundation. We have Daniela Melandri, who works with Innovate UK.
Or meeting number followed by pound.
As well as Hans Gunther Schwartz, also from the JPI Urban Europe Management Board. Again, if we could have people mute their phones, that would be most helpful.
Your entry is not valid, or the meeting has not started yet. Re-enter your access code or meeting number followed by pound.
Sorry about this, everyone. So for just kind of an outline of who's going to be speaking, I already introduced myself, and then there's been a slight change to this slide. Hans Gunther Schwartz will be
Your entry
talking about
is not valid, or the meeting has not started yet. Re-enter your access code or meeting number followed by pound.
Please mute your phones. Maria, do you want to say anything about the National Science Foundation, please?
Sure. I'd just like to, on behalf of the U.S. National Science Foundation, I'd like to welcome you all to this Belmont Forum.
Thanks for using WebEx. Visit our website at www.webex.com.
Okay. There's something that's going on.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can hear me or not.
Några minuter sen kommer vi till Köpenhamns flygplats Kastrup. Därför blir Köpenhamns flygplats Kastrup. Avstigning kommer ske till höger i tåget.
Sorry for the delay, folks. Sorry, there's just a lot of background noise that's making it pretty hard to host. Could you please mute your microphones, your computers, your phones. There's a lot of background noise that's making it pretty difficult. Okay, thanks guys. We'll continue.
On behalf of the U.S. National Science Foundation, I'd like to welcome you to the webinar. The U.S. National Science Foundation is part of the Belmont Forum, and we are the JPI Urban Europe, and we would like to provide you with an overview of an upcoming call. And I'm working with JPI now for about 9 or so months to put this out, and we're looking forward to having a successful call. And I'll just turn it over to James Kaplan from Innovate UK to give a welcome from the JPI Urban Europe.
Yeah, hi. Hi all, and welcome likewise from Innovate UK. Thanks for all being here. I just want to say very briefly who we are and sort of why we're doing this. So we're the UK Innovation Agency. We're one of 8 UK funding agencies. The other 7 are in thematic research areas, but we work very closely together, especially on urban living issues. I'm here today with 2 colleagues who you'll hear from later. As you'll hear, the way the competitions the JPI Urban Europe run, that different agencies can lead on different aspects of them. And for this initiative, Innovate UK are the coordinating agency to the European side, which is why we're here now. One of the reasons for that is, so I work in something called infrastructure systems, part of Innovate UK, and the reason really why we're coordinating is that we're interested in developing solutions for urban areas that allow different systems to be integrated in order to improve the success and the resilience of all. So I'm the nominal project lead from our side. The real skill and expertise actually resides with Ava and Daniela. said, who you'll hear from. Danielle is the practical, not to say endlessly efficient and patient project manager of the work. And Ava's our international expert who manages relationships with other countries and agencies, and who knows all there is to know about international issues. So that's a little bit about who we are and why we're doing this, and I'm sure we'll talk more over the next few months. But for now, I shall hand back over to Susanna with the presentation.
Thank you, James. Again, that people mute their phones. I showed this slide previously, who's going to be talking. But I'll just get underway and introduce the Belmont Forum. So who is the Belmont Forum? We were established. Oh. All right. If people can't, if you can't hear me, you won't hear this. So you can either call in or enter through the phone. I'm going to pause for just a second because it seems like a lot of people are having issues connecting. Bear with me one moment. We'll see if we can get it sorted out.
We have a meeting at noon.
And please mute your microphones.
Wow, great. It's unexpected, but we're still working.
Your phone.
And you'll be a speaker.
A lot of echo, so please, people, please get their computers, phones, turn off the video because that takes up a lot of bandwidth. To make it easier for everyone to hear.
Maybe a few words from there.
You want me to look, you know, at your plan? Happy to do it.
Well,
So everyone knows we are going to record this webinar and post it, so I'm sorry about some of the technical glitches that we're having, but we're going to have to move forward. We will be recording this and we will share that link. So I'm sorry for these technical difficulties. Please mute your phones, mute your microphones. I hear a lot of background noise. So
enter your access code or meeting number followed by pound.
Oh, geez. Sorry, everyone. Just a moment.
Everybody is going,
Your entry is not valid or the meeting has not started yet. Re-enter your access code or meeting number followed by pound.
Yes, hello, here's Evelyn.
Your entry is not valid or the meeting has not started yet. Re-enter your access code or meeting number followed by pound.
Du säger till mig att jag måste... Men jag sitter på using computer.
Thanks for using WebEx. Visit our website at www.webex.com.
Jag säger att det är katastrof.
Just so you know, I'm thanks. No, with mine, but I can take some.
Nu är vi med.
So that happens. And then,
but it could be right over here.
no idea. Like if she's late, it could be. So we'll need to just figure out a plan for if plan would be doing too much. So.
Hello.
Hello. I'm trying to individually mute some of the participants so we can distractions and get underway. So just bear with me a few more minutes. Sorry.
Okay, no problem.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, yeah,
Oh.
Yeah,
I
no
was
problem.
wondering, how do you call in from a laptop?
On your meeting info, you should be able to connect through the audio on your computer.
Audio from the computer? There's nowhere to call in from the computer.
But you close from no audio.
Sorry for the delay, folks. It'd be really helpful if you guys could all meet yourselves. Okay, I did my best to mute folks. I'm sorry that there's a lot of difficulties, and I can't really respond to everyone, unfortunately, and present. So again, this webinar will be recorded, so apologize for any of the technical difficulties, but anyways, we got to keep going. So to get back to what the Belmont Forum is, we were established in 2009, and basically to address two needs. One, to strengthen the engagement between research funding agencies and academic research community, and two, to improve the co-design, co-alignment, and co-funding of major research programs. So today we are a group of the world's major and emerging funders of global environmental change research. We are 21 members now and growing, representing approximately 17 nations. And our aim is to accelerate delivery of environmental research needed to remove the critical barriers to sustainability by aligning and mobilizing international resources. So I'm not going to go into every member, but you can see where we are and who we are on this slide. So, and what drives the Belmont Forum is the Belmont Challenge. It's our guiding principle on all of the collaborative research actions that we do. And we'll get into what a collaborative research action is in a little bit. Excuse me. But the Belmont Challenge is to deliver knowledge needed for action to mitigate and adapt to detrimental environmental change. And it requires assessments of risks, impacts, and vulnerabilities through regional and decadal scale analysis and prediction, information on the state of the environment, and interaction between natural and social sciences, enhancing the information service that we provide to the users of this research, and also effective international coordination mechanisms. I will hand it off to Urban Europe.
Okay, can everyone hear me?
No.
Yep.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so this is Hans-Günther Schwarz from the Europe Management Board. I just give you a short introduction of what we do. We are basically a network of research technology and innovation funders of national funding institutions and ministries. And the specific thing here in Europe is that we do have a framework program for research which offers research funding on a transnational level. However, it does not include national funds. So for certain grand challenges, the European Union has put together joint programming initiatives, and there's two reasons for that. One is that on a national level we can mobilize much more funding if we combine forces across the continent, but also we can the joint program can be developed and can be working in a coherent way. In this case, collaborating with the Belmont Forum, we are joining forces with the European Commission, with the European Framework Program, Horizon 2020. So it's a collaborative funding effort, those two big blocks, so to speak. And we try to be a one-stop shop for researchers who apply our cause. Now, the joint program is focused on the urban challenge, recognizing the urban challenge as one of the grand challenges of our time. And as such, we want to really create evidence out of research, evidence for the implementing forces in the urban field, which are the cities and industry, but also the public administrations. Acknowledging the complexity of the urban challenge, we know that we need to take a systems approach, that we need to address urban development and sustainability. I think someone hasn't muted their phone, so I'm having to talk against.
Sorry to interrupt. I can mute all the participants. Then I mute you.
Your computer, Magnus.
So if I mute all the participants, will you go ahead and unmute yourself, Hans, so we can hear you?
Good. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to mute everyone. Okay, Hans, if you want to unmute yourself, we should be able to.
Yeah, I'm back on.
Perfect.
Okay, so you heard me. I hope you heard me say that we are addressing the urban grand challenge of our time in terms of urbanization, where we want to really honor the complexity and the multidimensionality of the urban challenge. And we know that this has to be cross-sectoral and it has to be interdisciplinary. But not only that, it has to be transdisciplinary. It has to work with the people on the ground who make, who are taking on the urban challenge and who make the solutions happen. So the societal impact is very important to us. Having said that, you'll see that the JPI Urban Europe in the next slide is, well, before we come to the next slide, look at the picture. You see the spiral. And on the left-hand side of the spiral, you see the 5 dimensions which we have chosen for ourselves to represent the system view of the urban challenge. So we try to create transition models which go along those system dimensions, and our next call together with the Belmont Forum will help us in doing so. So can I have the next slide? Okay, we are essentially 22 countries. We work together in what we call variable geometry, which means those countries which are interested in following a certain call in a certain development, a certain theme, come together in joint calls every year. We have 12 members who really steer the joint program, that have been steering the joint program over now 6 years. We have 8 additional countries which are observers, which just are happy to come in and co-fund certain joint calls. We have even countries who are happy to only co-fund and not even follow the development too much. And we have countries that take up the information that we create and the evidence and are our partners in dissemination. We are pretty much spread out across the whole continent of Europe, and we're really eager to have this new collaboration with the Belmont Forum, with all those non-European countries, because we think the urban challenge is not limited to Europe. It's a global challenge, and we need global solutions. Thank you very much.
So to get into a collaborative research action, which we call CRA from the Belmont Forum side of things, and in this situation, EURNet in Europe. But we're a joint initiative, excuse me, between funders across different countries in order to fund a transnational consortia on a specific challenge. we're interdisciplinary in nature, again, emphasizing across all these disciplines, natural and social sciences, as well as the arts and humanities, with a clear link to research users, policymakers, decision makers, regulators, NGOs, communities, industry, stakeholders, and we're aiming to address societally relevant global environmental change challenges, and especially key to that is for capacity building, providing support for capacity building. So, why a Nexus approach to global urbanization then? Well, in 2015, Belmont Forum and JPI Urban Europe got together in Boulder for a scoping workshop, and came to the conclusion that this was a way to accelerate transitions to sustainable consumption and production. This is a vital need, global and societal need, and it aligns nicely with what funding agencies are already doing. Their current goals and as well as their future goals and priorities. You can see a list of several funding agency initiatives that they're already doing. And so this Nexus approach to global urbanization just fits in with the goals that the funding agencies already have. So, why Nexus approach to global urbanization? Because it's a real problem. With population growth expected to be 11 billion by 2100, the globalization, economic growth, as well as half of the global population already lives in urban areas, and by 2015, 70% of the global population is expected to live in cities. I should note that this slide and the following slide is from a presentation at that Boulder scoping workshop. So I didn't do the statistics of the numbers. They may have changed, but it does illustrate accurately what is going on. And then, also climate change impacts, global water cycles changing in response to warming, uneven across areas and seasons, sea level rise, as well as increase of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and ocean acidification. So, we have these problems, and then in addition, there's access issues. 1.1 billion people don't have sufficient access to water. 2.6 billion people lack sanitation, and 2/3 of the world population already live in areas of high water stress. 1 billion people face extreme hunger, and then twice that lack food security. And the resource issues, the demand for water and for food is only going to increase, as well as energy needs. So I think it underscores a real problem and a challenge for us to tackle. So Daniela, I believe I muted all of the participants, so you'll have to unmute yourself so we can hear you, please.
Hello, thank you, Susanna. Hello, everyone. I'm Daniela Melandri from Innovate UK. So I will follow up on the next slide. So who we are actually, what is this joint initiative about? As Susanna said, this is the first time the initiative has been created between the Belmont Forum and the JPI Urban Europe. So we are in overall 25 funding agencies from all around the world, 15 in Europe and 8 outside Europe, as you can see from this map. And the following slide, please. So what is SUGI actually? SUGI stands for Sustainable Urban Global Initiative, and it tackles food, energy, water into the urban arena. The aim of this call is to initially to put together Belmont Forum JPI Urban Europe priorities and to leverage the international added value and international dimension of this cooperation. We want to enable new partnerships of natural and social science, including arts, humanities, and in fact even including end users and stakeholders in a very transdisciplinary and interdisciplinary approach. So we would like really to foster our attention on co-creation and co-design and solution oriented towards the research. Next slide. So the aim of this initiative, of this call, is to bring together the research and innovation expertise across the globe to find innovative new solutions on food, water, energies, and Nexus challenges, to support the development of practical innovation and new collaboration research that will allow urban areas to understand and address better the challenges, and to foster the development of international relationships between the different parts of the research and innovation communities, with a focus clearly on the SRIA agenda, the Future Earth, UNHabitat, and of course the agenda that we have here in Europe in terms of the European Commission priorities as well. The next one, please. So the proposals will fall under one or more of these three thematic themes, so robust knowledge, indicators and assessment, multi-level governance and management of the food, water, energy nexus, and managing potential strategies and solutions to address emerging risks and trade-offs. The aim is to connect the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and the ECU ones, of course, and the Future Earth sustainability challenges. Next one. So what we would like to do in terms of eligibility and what are the main criteria. So each funding agency will define some national annex, which is the one that rules the national scheme of the call. Every project will is looking for having 3 or more countries involved. And especially when there are European countries, the eligibility criteria is to have at least 2 JPI Urban Europe countries. The reason why we're doing all of this is clearly to have synergies, cross-cutting around the different funding agencies. So it's highly encouraged to have at least 1 Belmont Forum and 2 JPI Urban Europe countries. To have proposals, as I said, with 3 different countries, but in the case that they are non-JPI, they are accepted even if they are all 3 Belmont Forum countries. But organizations from non-Belmont Forum and JPI may participate as well, of course, at no cost. But they clearly do not count with the requirement of the 3 minimum country, as I said before. Next slide. So I guess, Susanna, you will introduce the workshops incubators, right?
Yes, Daniela. So I guess to provide more networking opportunities and transdisciplinary training, we will, so far we have planned 3 regional workshops in the United States, and there's 1 that will be held in South Africa, and there is 1 planned in the European Union. We will provide more information as those details.
Queste macchina stanno all'aperitivo.
Sorry about that. So we will keep everybody apprised of these workshops as we get them more refined and figure out exactly the logistics of them. But there will be opportunities to work together. And talk to your country too. See if they want to host a workshop or an incubator. We're happy to help facilitate that. The more we can reach, the better. So, if you think your funding agency or country has interest, let us know. And here's a rough timeline of what we expect. There's this webinar that we're on right now. Late this year, early 2017, we will announce the call, as well as host the regional community incubator workshops and the training sessions. And then early to mid 2017, we will have the pre-proposals due, and they're 3-year projects due, sometime between March and April of 2017, with the full proposals due this time next year. And then sort of the long-term planning project will begin in early 2018 and end in 2020, 2021, and we'll work on developing synergies between projects and disseminating the findings there. So I know we had a lot of technical difficulties, and I know people had issues hearing us. But for those of you that couldn't hear us, Please, feel free to ask us questions, and we'll do our best. So, if you could raise your hand in the chat window, that would be helpful. Otherwise, we might have a free-for-all. I did mute the participants, so if you want to ask a question, you'll have to individually mute yourself so we can hear your questions. Are there any questions?
I have questions about scoping workshop.
Yes?
This is European.
Yupen, yes. Hi, Yupen.
Can you hear me? Can all of you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. As far as I remember that in Belmont Forum meeting, and we mentioned that we will host at least one scoping workshop in Asia.
Excellent. So, sorry. That was Yupen from Chinese Taipei. They will also be hosting an incubator workshop. Sorry, we didn't include that. If anyone else didn't hear that. We had a question about for a research institution in Switzerland, how can we participate?
If you're JPI Urban Europe, then that would be, the question would be going to Daniela or James.
Yes. Was it Switzerland, right? The country. Susanna, can you confirm me that our understanding was correct on the question? Sorry, I can't read the question.
Yes, Switzerland.
Yeah, Switzerland is not part of, it's an eligible country in terms of associated country to the EC, generally speaking, but in this specific case is not part of the funding agencies belonging to the core. So unless they want to participate with their own fund, and they are eligible for that, there's no problem on that side. They do not count, as I said, in the eligibility criteria as one of the three, minimum one of the three. But if they want to join, they can join. The only thing is that they have to be aware is that there is no funding agency joining the consortium right now from Switzerland. So they will have to put their own fund in the project.
How about Denmark?
Yes. Denmark.
Hello, how about that? Yeah.
Yeah. Denmark is in the consortium. So I'm just checking again. Sorry. No, sorry. I'm sorry. No, Denmark is the same as Switzerland. So it's not part of the funding agencies belonging to the SUGI consortium. So the answer is the same as Switzerland. Yes, you're very welcome to join, but you have to your own expenses.
Hello. Okay, so that means you can be a partner in the proposal, but you have to come with your own funding.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Susanna.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You go ahead.
I have two specific questions.
Okay.
The first one, well, my name is Ahmed Khan. I'm from Brussels, University of Brussels. The first question is about a little bit more detail of the three main themes that you present. Is there a document or something that we can access to see more detail of the three themes? And the second question is about the funding, the scale of the funding, like a project with three partners. I suppose this is a 3 years project, and what is the budget for each project, or is there any idea about that? Thank you. And also that this presentation would be available to the participants?
the one that you used? Thank you.
So to answer your first question about more information on the theme background, yes, that will be available very soon, as we put the call text out, and we will be able to provide you with some information that came from the workshop that was held in Boulder, Colorado, in the U.S. last year. So that will be that information will be available on the Belmont Forum website in the next week or so, and that should give you some idea of what the discussions were around. In terms of the budget, typically the Belmont Forum and joint JPI collaborative research actions, ARANETs, that we've done in the past have been around, say, 30 to 40 million euros, and we anticipate something similar. And then we also, the actual budget for each country will be, that information and budget limits and that kind of thing will be in each national annex. So I suggest that when you decide on your team, you look at how much money is being managed by each of the different partners, and that way you can scale your research project accordingly.
Okay.
Okay, I have gotten a few questions typed to me, so I'll share those now. A question from Qatar. Yes, Qatar can participate. Their funding agency is participating through Belmont Forum, so absolutely, we welcome those applications. What about estimated financial volume? I think we just generally address that, and there'll be more detail as soon as the call text is finalized. And then there's some questions about urgency and the difficulty of this task at hand, and certainly that's always the case. We're trying to fund research, but this is the timeline when we're getting quite a few funding agencies together to do this. So,
yeah, and in terms of expectations for the outcomes, we are looking to focus on Nexus challenges, and so we want to be able to look at focusing where those challenges come together, and we do expect to fund those projects that have that Nexus approach, not just one aspect of it, but the true Nexus. And we do realize that this is a big ask, and that's one of the reasons why we're trying to have these incubator or training workshops to help build communities of people who may be working on specific aspects of the Nexus, but not necessarily in the same team yet. And I think those are the kinds of partners that you should be looking for, are ones that complement your existing strengths, and we're hoping that the incubator workshops and the training sessions will provide a way for you to meet potential new partners. In addition, the Belmont Forum has what's called a research matching site, and you may register on there. It's kind of like a mini Facebook kind of approach, social media group to identify other potential partners. So we're hoping that you will utilize those ideas. And in addition, Future Earth has just launched their open network, and I encourage you to use those aspects as well to identify potential partners there.
Hello.
So please, so can you please send those link with the email of your presentation, because I don't know exactly what which social media it is. So if you send us a link, I think that would be very useful for all of us.
We will add this link at the end of the presentation if you want as well, and we can share that. Is that okay, Susanna?
Sure. We will be saving and archiving this presentation and make that available online. So for those specific questions on what countries are part of the Belmont Forum or the JPI Urban Europe, you can look at our presentation and see those countries that are already participating. So you don't have to remember all of this. We will make it available to you online. And I don't have a link to that just yet, but we will.
Susanna?
Hello, I have a question.
Yeah. Hello?
Yeah, sorry, one at a time, please. I think this is Nancy.
Yeah, this is Nancy. Nancy Graham.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Nancy Graham from Arizona State. I just was, what I was trying to get at was the timeline. I'm not worried about the timeline for the proposals, but the idea that that whatever projects come out of these proposals are going to be 2-year projects seems a little bit short-sighted, because I'm not really sure what one can do with a 2-year project. So I just wondered if there had been any discussion of making these longer efforts, given the magnitude of the issue. We actually, they're 3-year projects, and so we also anticipate the idea.
You had said 2018 to 2020, so that's why I was wondering.
It's 2021 actually. They're 3-year projects, and they will most likely have no cost extensions, which sometimes do happen. In addition, we will also be looking at creating opportunities for groups that are funded under this to work together in other aspects. So we expect kind of the initial group to establish itself, and then hopefully we'll be able to provide further activities and funding opportunities to take what is being worked on and brought forward. Right now, we're limited by our partnerships in terms of what some funding agencies can fund and what others can't. So at this point, we're going to have to try and take a first step with this, with the expectation that this will keep moving forward.
I know there are more questions out there. I want to get to some that were written in, and then we can only really provide a few more minutes of questions, but I'm excited about it. So allow me to just share these questions we got first. Will the focus of the research be in the funding countries, or can research take place on or in countries not part of the Belmont Forum or JPI Urban Europe? Absolutely. You can research wherever you want. Yeah, so you're not limited to those locations for your research. In terms of which African, Asian, and South American countries are eligible, we will provide a list of those countries that are participating through the Belmont Forum. But again, you can't participate, you just won't count towards the 3-country minimum that's required for a proposal. So,
and we are actually working on a mechanism to be able to look at potential funding for developing countries in Africa to be part of, to receive funding through a new partner that we're trying to develop within the Belmont Forum. So please keep an eye out for eligibility and national annexes through the participating organizations.
Hello, you can hear me?
Yes.
So who will approach who in terms of those countries which are non-European? Who will approach who? Can be the proposal like from North African and MENA region, and then being proposed to European countries.
Susanna, do you want?
I'm not sure I totally understand the question, or sorry.
So I guess that the lady is asking on how is the communication flow between the countries from Africa and other countries is going to work. Is that the question, right?
Almost, yeah. Like if we have proposals, ready proposals for projects.
So if you are one of the either JPI or Belmont Forum country, you will receive. I mean, you will receive all this information anyway, but you are eligible for the call, as we said before. If not, you can join a consortium where there are these countries on board, and you can join it, you know, participating on to the workshops, incubators, joining the other webinars. We're going to do definitely other webinars. We're going to provide contact details so you can write to us. And you can join other existing consortia and partnering with them. So it could be a both ways flow. Either they can contact you or you can contact them, and you know, you're free to build a consortium together. As long as it's clear that if there is no funding agency from your country so far, unless the funding agencies will not join later, so far the expenses will be completely on your side.
What about the transdisciplinary training next year? What topics on that? Is it already prepared, the plan for the training?
It's going to be on the topics related to the call. So it's going to be on the food, energy, water integration in the urban landscape. So it will be focusing on trying to develop the partnerships and the links between the applicants around the world.
All right. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Philippe Fressinet. I'm from Qatar Foundation, and I have a question about the monitoring process. So once the projects are going to be awarded, do you plan to have a monitoring process to collect the outcomes of the project, or to clusterize the project? Is there something planned about that?
Yes, Philippe, thank you very much for jumping on the webinar with us. Philippe is actually a Belmont Forum member from the Qatar Foundation, and yes, we are going to provide a group of, we're going to try and get the projects together at least once in the middle of the project and at the end. In addition, we are also working with some of the groups in Future Earth to help us build the consortium and linkages across the programs that we are, across the projects that we've funded. And this is something that we're moving forward to, and I think that gets to Nancy Grimm's question about, future opportunities for this kind of research. So yes, we're working along those lines, and in fact, it's one of the things that we will be discussing at the party meeting in just a couple of weeks.
Okay, thank you, Susanna.
Hello. Yes, hello. Susanna, on the monitoring side, I think Tina from Slovenia is here as well, who is going to be the EU leader on the monitoring side of the project. I don't know, Tina, are you on the webinar? I've seen you before. Okay, I was just wondering whether she wanted to add anything to this, but we might.
Okay, yeah. So everyone that you invited for the webinar, are they on the mailing list for this material from the presentation?
We will be posting them to the same channels that you found out about the webinar. I don't know that you'll get an individual email, but if you check the Belmont Forum website, if you check the JPI Urban Europe website, follow us on Twitter. I'll put the contact information up. You will find information through those channels. I don't know exactly, what link to share, but we will post the link of this webinar that's been being recorded on belmontforum.org at jpi-urbaneurope.eu. I know Future Earth is also going to post a video of this webinar as well. So we will try to spread the word as much as we possibly can so you all can see this. Thank you all for your questions. There's one more person who doesn't have a microphone from Argentina. So I just wanted to get her question. And I'm not sure if I know the question exactly, but it says Argentina participates in SUGI, but they aren't a part of JPI Urban Europe yet or a part of the Belmont Forum yet. So what is Argentina's status?
Argentina is an eligible country under the European Commission, so it stands like like coming from the JPI Urban Europe side. Even if they are not a former member of the JPI Urban Europe, they are an eligible country for EC.
Right, and in addition, there will be representation from Argentina at the upcoming Belmont Forum meeting, and it looks, hopefully there will be opportunities for Argentina to join the Belmont Forum and within this particular area.
I guess just maybe time for one or two questions.
No, I think, yeah, I just wanted to be sure that we are all on the mailing list, because I got this email from, I don't know, from what of JPI, so I guess all the people who got invited for this webinar, I hope, you have one list so you can send out this material to all of us.
I think we do, yeah. I have a participant list, so I will certainly share this with the participants, yes.
Okay, that's good, yeah.
I have a question. Oh, I'm sorry. I have a question that I missed. Sorry about that. It's concerning the consortium. As the research is supposed to be transdisciplinary, I assume that an industrial partner or policymaker, decision maker needs to be involved. Absolutely, yes. And can junior research groups be funded? Absolutely, yes. So sorry I missed that question earlier. Thanks for that question.
Hello, sorry. Can we ask a question?
That is actually a criteria for this call. Belmont Forum calls must include natural science, social science, and stakeholder engagement. And again, this is reflected in this particular food, water, energy call joined with the JPI.
I guess looks like we have a question from Suna. Feel free to take the floor.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, this is Agnese Macaluza-Rensdeman from the Hague Institute. We have a question about the eligibility criteria, because the first point says each funder defines their own eligible communities through a national annex. So does this mean that each national agency first runs a selection internally in the country? Or any organization is free to create consortia and apply?
That's a really good question. Typically when they say who is eligible for this, it is up to each individual organization, and they will provide that information in the annex. And based on our previous calls, it is organizations that are typically funded through a national funding agency. So let's say in the United States, NSF is able to fund universities, national or non-governmental organizations, and things so it's really dependent on what is written in the annex, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they will run a competition to find out who is eligible. So you really need to look at the point of contact in your country and just make sure that you are eligible to be part of a consortium. So that's the best thing to do, is to check that.
On this side, Maria, if I can add, from even from our perspective, so you will definitely get the contact list of all the funding agencies, together with the contact list of the people who compose the co-secretariat, which is a joint co-secretariat among the different funding agencies. So there are two levels, a joint one and a national one. You will get the contact from, from both levels. And as Marias was saying, like here in UK, for instance, some funding agencies do fund some specific applicants, and some others do fund other kind of applicants. So that is going to be described on the national annex on that specific case.
Okay, thank you.
Hello. Okay, I'm sorry about that, Demet. By all means, ask your question, and then we'll have to wrap up shortly. So that's the question.
Hello, my name is Nicolas Pardo. I have a question. I would like to ask you if it is because we have good contacts with the United Nations. I would like to ask you. Hello.
Can you repeat
the question?
Yeah, I will repeat the question. Hello, my name is Nicolas Pardo from the Austrian Institute of Technology, and I would like to ask you if some of the agencies of the United Nations are able to participate in a consortium, because we have good contacts here in Vienna.
It will completely depend on whether or not that particular organization is eligible for funding from any of the participating funding agencies. So in the U.S., we are able to fund certain international organizations. Again, the best thing to do is to look at the national annex and then contact either the group of program coordinator for your country or the national person, as Daniela has said.
If I can add on this, from the European perspective, I'm afraid there is no funding agencies that will allow this sort of funding. But on the other hand, it might be interesting for you to know that we are very closely linked to UNHABITAT and all the activities as well. So actually, even in the future Quito conference, we will be there, and so that we are connected with at the United Nations level. But on the specific request of whether they are eligible for funding, as Maria said, it's up to the national annexes. Here in Europe, for sure, they are not.
Can you please clear for me what is the role of Qatar Foundation in this funding?
Philippe, if you're still here, do you want to field this question, or?
You hear me?
Yeah.
Can you?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I can't hear him.
I think we're having trouble with that. I know that Qatar.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm in Qatar.
Okay. So the national funder will be Qatar National Research Fund, and so we play the role, and we may play the role as a national funding agency involved in that call. So the grant will be given to all the eligible institutions in Qatar. And so all those who are referenced at QNRF, actually, so at the time of the call.
So you mean all the conditions is ready for you, the eligibility conditions?
The conditions are the ones that are used to the QNRF calls. So all the research institutions based in Qatar are eligible.
I know we're getting a lot of eligibility questions, which I appreciate, but I think it'll be more clear when we get the call text out. If you have questions, feel free to contact myself, Susanna Ellers, or Daniela Milani, or anyone on this slide, and we will do our best to answer your questions for you. We can't possibly answer every single eligibility question right now, so I apologize. But thank you all for your participation. We really appreciate taking the time to learn about our upcoming joint call. And thank you for your questions. And again, we will be posting this webinar online I have a list of all the participants in this webinar, so I will make every effort to get this to you. But again, please check our website and social media and just follow what we're doing, and we'll make sure we keep you guys apprised as we move forward. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, even
Thank
from
you,
our
bye.
side, from the JPI Urban Europe side. Thank you.